Hello, and today we're going to be building Red Dragon Archfiend structure deck. As you can see, I've already got some bits set up thought through, but first we'll open the box before we start, the last box before we start going into building the deck itself. So, inside you do get play mats with some of the combos you can do in the back, which is really useful if you're wanting to learn. I'll just put that to the side. Getting into the deck itself, I just take the packaging off. Then, so we have this Red Dragon Archfiend, so it's a synchro deck, so a lot of these we tuners. So, main deck, promo card that comes in that set, put to one side. Then everything we need to build plus a bit extra. So let me just find the bit I need. Talk about building. So Yu-Gi-Oh decks are normally between 40 and 60 cards. So we tend to build somewhere within that. I've got a mix, but I think this deck I've worked out to be about 41 to 42 cards potentially once we finish building it. Doesn't really matter that much. Well, it's closer to 40. We find that more consistency is in the deck. I've already separated some bits out because to speed up this process. Just need so let's work this out now. So, we'll start 15 in this extra deck. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14, oh, just 15. So, yeah, there we go. Come back to them a minute. So, first of all, important to note in this deck, this, can I get it? No, there we go. This card, Hot Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamity, is banned. So this can be put to one side because it's not going to be used at all during the building of this deck. So let's look at that. But building a deck, we have threes, everything. Well, we have ban lists instead of some of the other games which have like set rotations or other thing, which means every 3 months or so we get cards being changed, but basically cards can either play unlimited 3, semi-limited 2, limited 1, or banned, can't be played at all. So this is what, so I've split the deck up into the monsters, the spells, traps and extra deck, how I play this. So synchro deck tuners, this is one of the materials we need, so the decks can be heavily based around them. So this one, we're running 3 Soul Resonator, 3 Fission, 3 Creation, 3 Synchron, 3 of the Crimson, 3 of the Red. They're the main core of the deck. Then we have 3 Phantom King Hydrid. He's useful because he is a tuner, but he doesn't have to act as one under certain circumstances. So it's just a bit more versatility. Then we have 3 Wandering King Wildwind, which is useful, and Bone Archfiend. They're all the monsters. We do not use Dark Resonator in this core for the Resonators. It's the only one we don't use. Because his effects are not too... It's not lacking for what we need. For spells, we're using Crimson Gaia, which is going to be an important spell. I'll explain a bit about that in a minute. And 3 Resonator Calls. Again, important. I'll explain that in a minute. Then we'll have, for our traps, 3 Red Zones, 3 Fiendish Change, and 3 Red Rains. So that's start explaining some of this. So I take so one of the main ones in this deck, Bone Archfiend, level 4. So his effect is you can send a card from hand or field to the graveyard to special summon this card if it's in your hand or graveyard. And it locks you into Dragon Synchro monsters, which is what the Dark Dragon Synchro monsters, which is what this deck is made up of. And you can target a face-up control, send a Fiend Tuner, so any one of the main decks there, from hand to deck. If you do, you can change the level of that monster you've targeted by 1. Increase or decrease, which is useful because it means with less material can get into certain of the extra deck. So that's why we're using him. Wandering King, if you've got a Fiend Tuner with 1500 or less attack, he specials out, so he's just a free special summon, locks you into Synchro monsters, and he's level 4, so he's quite big to make some of them. I said Phantom King Hydrid can choose to treat itself as a non-synchro, as a non-tuner, which can be really handy for certain combos. Then all the Resonators have effects about being able to special summon themselves or normal summon or a few other bits depending on what's being played. So what might a play be? So if I opened up Bone Archfiend, Wild, I'll go Red Resonator, and now I've got Red. I'll go Crimson Resonator. then I'll add in a Crimson Gaia. So I've got my 5 cards. So first of all, I'd play Crimson Gaia, which will let me access any of the which one does it? Let me access the resonator. That's, is it fission? Yeah, let you add something like a fission resonator or a soul resonator from deck to hand, which gives me more plays. Also means you can, when you declare attack, you can change all your opponent's stuff to defense down, and it also lets you summon out Red Dragon Archfiends from graveyard. So now I've got these 4 cards in hand. I'd start by specialing Crimson Resonator. It's a 2, and it says control no monsters you can special summon. Then now I can special summon Wandering King Wildwind. Let's just ignore that there, because I don't have the space to do one. So then, using these, they can go to graveyard. Just put them up there for now. And I'll go into a Red Rising Dragon. I'll go into Bracious Exec in a minute. This, in turn, lets me, I can target my Crimson Resonator to bring it back to the field. Now, there's several ways, because I've got an 8. So I could go into Red Dragon Archfiend, which, if it attacks defense position monsters, destroys all of them. So, which means with Crimson Gaia, you can basically flip them up and down and then board wipe them. You can just something like Scarlight, Red Dragon Archfiend, which becomes Red Dragon well, its name becomes Red Dragon Archfiend once on the field. You can destroy special summoned effect monsters on the field with attack less or equal to this card's inflict 500 damage per monster to your opponent, so it does burn damage. You could also go into Scarred Dragon Archfiend, which is another 8. That again, if it comes off if it's used as synchro material off which you can use as a board to destroy attack position monsters your opponent controls. It doesn't really matter which one you go into. I'm going to go into Scarred for this combo. So there we go. I have still not used my normal summon. So I've still got Resonators and an 8 on board. So I'd probably bring out I've still got a normal summon. So I'm not going normal Red Resonator to then bring out Soul Resonator. So then I've got a 3 and a 2, so it's 5. So and an 8, so I can do an 8 and what to make a 10. I can go 8 and the other one to synchro into an 11. So let's look at the higher ones. So at this point I could go off into Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss or Bane. So Abyss is a quick effect you can use on your opponent's turn to negate effects on your opponent's turn, and if you battle you can target one of your tuners in the graveyard to bring it, if it battles, to bring it back in defense position. Or you go into Bane to target Red Dragon Archfiend monster in graveyard to special summon it, and when it inflicts damage you can special summon 2 tuners with the same level, one from deck, one from graveyard. So in this example I could summon out another level 2, which is useful because then if you're making stuff you try and get into something like Red Nova or Red Supernova, which you need Red Dragon Archfiend. Well, Red Nova needs the Red Dragon Archfiend and 2 tuners, or Red Supernova needs 3 tuners and 1 non-tuner synchro monster. So you just keep. So the idea is you keep climbing and special summoning these to your side of the field. In terms of the traps, there's a very good spot. So there's Resonator Call. If you have in hand no tuners, you just use that and you can add one of your resonators from deck to hand. So in this deck, the way it is, I'd play 1 Red Supernova and 1 Red Nova. You can get into them, but they're your highest. Personally, I play 3 Scarred, because I find when I've played this deck in the past, it's probably one of the most useful, as it lets you summon out Red Dragon Archfiend as if you'd synchro summoned it. So you don't even need to, so then you can get a free extra synchro summon effectively. So that's good. I think I'm down with 3 Red Dragon Archfiends because it's just one of the main ones. I think I'm on 2, I'm on 2 Scarlights, 1 Bane, 1 Abyss. Just because of my self-play, you can adjust these however you want. But I'm on 3 Red Rising Dragons. Because this is what you're starting your synchro climbs in. Most of the, if not 100% of the time. Because it makes you a 6 and it brings back so you can go into like an 8 or a 9. Whatever. So without this, your combos are not starting off. So, let's explain a bit more outside the traps. We have Red Zone, which when you activate it's continuous trap, so it won't leave the field. When your opponent activates effects, where you control a Red Dragon Archfiend or synchro that mentions it, which a lot of them do, or they become it, you can target a card to destroy, and you can also target a banished card, that's a Dark Dragon Synchro monster, and special summon it, which means if they do get rid of it in the banish, so you can't bring it back from graveyard, you still have access to some of your extra decks, so you can still finish chains. Speaking of chains, Fiendish Chain. When you can activate this, again it's a continuous trap to basically lock down one of your opponent's effect monsters. It negates the effects and they cannot attack. But when their monster's destroyed, this card's destroyed. Really useful for one, negating effects that could affect your deck, or also just stopping them from being able to attack is huge, because if you hit some of their boss monsters, they can't play the game, and it's really awkward for them. Then Red Rain. Not continuous, so you just flip it, that's it. Control level 8 or higher, so basically, once you've got past Red Rising Dragon, you can banish all monsters on the field except the ones with the highest level. And then anything on the stays on the field is affected by the card effects except their own to end of turn. And then if you summon a Dark Dragon Synchro monster, and this is in your graveyard, you can add it back from hand, so effectively you're playing more than just the 3 copies you've got in your hand. So that's useful because it means you can recycle them, so you can keep breaking your opponent's boards and making it hard for them to remove your monsters from the field. So that's how I play it. Now, obviously there are other cards in the deck, which will go into other decks, or you can experiment and build slightly different versions. So I might put in aside, I might think about it, not always mainly, but maybe have an aside, maybe 1 or 2 copies of King Synchro. You can let you negate attack when you've got a Synchro monster on board. They go to it, isn't it? You can also banish that Synchro monster and a tuner from graveyard, and special summon a Synchro monster whose levels equal that. So if I had Red Rising Dragon and a Crimson Resonator in graveyard, banish, I then have access to any of the 8s I've got in my extra deck, meaning I can then pull out a stronger Synchro monster. There is other things in there. So yeah, that's what I do with it. By all means, experiment with stuff if you do buy it. Next week I'll be looking at ways we might be able to modify this deck fairly cheaply and improving it so it's not just 3 structure decks. However, what I have found with this deck is, and one of the reasons I've picked this as the first one, is it's a strong deck for 3 structure decks. It's never going to topple locals the way it is, but it's strong enough that you can play at low level and have a lot of fun with it, and you are going to catch some people off guard with it. But some of the stuff we'll be looking at next week on improving it means we'll be able to have more of a chance at locals or against stronger decks, which might be able to out and shut down this deck. But it's a really fun deck. there's, you want to tell me about anything you've tried with it, if you've got it, or any other ideas, and let me know what you've done, because you might have decided, looking through it, there's certain things you'd want to put in that maybe I've not thought of from you. So yeah, that's the Red Dragon Archfiend deck. Oh, yeah, that's it. So next week, as I say, we'll be looking at a different one. Then a couple of weeks, I'll have a video for the week or two, I think. The new QCR Bonanza box is coming out, so I've got one of those ordered. So next week's we'll have to open that, see what happens with that. So yeah.